Um, like there's on this is
Okay,
being the,
so the way we're going to work this is we do it like circle. So there's a talking stick, especially tonight. We've got, wow, people here, we got people online. So we pass the talking stick around. When someone's done, you just say, okay, I put the talking stick back in the middle, and either I or Jerry will move it on to the next person. If you wish time to speak, just put up your hand, either physically or however you use this crazy thing. And we'll kind of go as they come, and as it works into the discussion, we'll go that way. Okay, does that make sense for everybody? Now I see there's some stuff in the chat already. Good. So chat's there. If you want to use it, feel free to use that. I don't know how often I'll look at it. We've got 7 young people. Welcome you all. Our
And until you're speaking, we ask that you keep your microphone on mute. This
yes.
number of people and the energy of the of with the thing, it's going to
Hey,
be hard keeping us all on. So
that's good.
if we can limit the amount of input that goes into Zoom here, you know, I always envision that I would love to have Zoom crash because we have too many people in the circle. But this is
Hasn't happened
maybe
yet.
tonight. But let's try not. Let's try
Maybe,
to
let's
make that
not.
not
Yeah,
happen.
let's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not good. So we have 13 people up on Pine Ridge. Our friend Tom, my brother, facilitating up there. 7 of them are youth from the area. And so tonight they've asked, and so they are the youth council, and they are co-facilitators. Is that the word we were going to use, Jerry? Yeah, co-facilitators with us. I'm not sure how we're going to make this work because they don't have computer access. They're on their phone. They can hear us through my phone. And so they'll be sending whatever it is. And if they want to bring in topics, we'll let them do that. If they want to be the first ones to bring in questions, we'll let them do that. And we'll bow to the young people on this. And it's awesome. Thank you for doing that, folks. That's really. And there will be a circle of grandmothers, 6 of them, coming in probably at any time. So just not to apologize, but explanation. If you see me look off, it's because I'm watching for these 2 groups to see what they're sending our way. And so Jerry will usually just step in and grab it while I'm doing that. Okay, before we really start, I think maybe do our announcement. What do you think? Where are you? You there, Melissa? There
I'm
she
here.
is. Do you want to talk a little bit about the solstice?
Absolutely. Last week, during the time together, we discussed collaborating on doing a global drum circle for the solstice this Sunday. And it was birthed out of many trains of thought, but um, the impulse that was driving this was the children and the animals. And so we're really excited to gather at 11:11. So Jim was born on 11:11 at 11:11, and if you know me or get to know me, I'm all about the numbers. So we were in perfect alignment to come together, and the vision that we've been talking about is just our beautiful Mother Earth, and just around the globe for us all to be drumming for 27 hours straight. So that if we could all share that with our circles and our people and our families and our loved ones. And this is a real quick event. We just started talking about this last week, so we're really on crunch time. But if you can send things out and explain to people that they don't need to necessarily know how to drum or have a drum, they can just use their own heartbeat, right? Because we know that we all have our own heartbeat and we all have our own drum inside of us, and specifically for us women, to hold that space for all of us, and for this womb healing and this mother healing of our blessed planet, who has been crying out um, through all universes, time, space, continuum. And I'm just honored to answer the call, be here, and Jerry's going to be holding a sacred fire the whole entire time. So when we met today and talked a little, We talked about even if you just had a flame and you sat and you lit a flame together and you just envisioned us all being one together in rhythm to reset that sacred heartbeat of the earth so that we can come together in community and heal. So if you have any
Beautiful. Thank you.
questions or did I leave anything out? Um,
Yeah, is there any questions anybody has?
Yeah, is that going by different time zones or how does that work?
we thought
Oh,
you can do it on your time zone, but the way I look at it is we have to just surrender and let creator drive this. So if it happens to be at 111 your time, and that's a little bit better, but my impulse and I feel that it should just be a sacred number. So whether it's 222 or 333 or 444, that sacred alignment is what's most important, and the intention and the healing. So leading up to Sunday, I know Jerry had talked about anything that we want to release. We know that this is a grand time of purification on so many levels. And that's what the closing out of this time is this purification, that we can start fresh and start anew. And during that time of the solstice, when we just all come to that halt, that it's almost like, okay, we're reset.
Good.
And we have all the energy we could need. We just have the sacred love and embrace of the mother. And that's where we are.
Perfect. I don't know. I'm sorry I had to get up. My dogs were barking out there, and the dog police have been getting on all our backs here. Oops, there's another one. Yeah, I'm not sure if Melissa said, but it goes
no,
it goes around the globe. Did you say that, Jerry?
no. Melissa did say that. Yes.
Okay,
And
good.
the question was asked: is it a certain time zone? And Melissa said,
No,
whatever it's not a certain time zone. We asked that people should come in at 11:11, but Melissa said what's important is your
their time.
intention that you be here.
Yeah,
Yeah, 11:11 your time, but if
yep.
if if it's a sacred number, 111, if whatever, when you come and you're able to be there present for all of this to come to the circle, then
Yep.
that's the right time for you. The important thing is that we all join together.
Yeah, and the purpose of it being at 11, whatever time we picked, and you can shift, was that way it goes on for 27 hours plus or minus, because it keeps going around the globe. So
And
that's
so, yeah.
what we've always done. But feel free, and we've had other people who had to change it for some reason. They didn't want to get up at 3 something in the morning. I don't know. So, yep, okay.
I'll share right before I came on. I always receive messages through frequency and music. And the song was Time is an illusion that helps things make sense. So we are always living in the present tense. It seems unforgiving when a good thing's end, but you and I will always be back then, and you and I will always be best friends. And that's what this is about, is us just love, love, love. And we're here for one another to hold this space. Yes.
Yes,
Good.
that's right. And Melissa, you talked about the fire. So, and about bringing things to the fire. So, if you can't have a fire, if you can't have a fire to take the things that you want to release, know that I will have that fire burning from the time the first light touches the horizon in the east on the day of the solstice until the sun rises again on Monday morning. That fire will be going, and probably longer because it's going to be about 27 hours. By Jim said by the time everyone reaches 11:11. So I'm going to keep it going until 11:11 Monday morning. 11:12, 11:13, somewhere around then the fire will be released. All the energy. But if you want to, as far as things you need to release, if you don't have access to fire to do anything like that, you can take and you can send what you want to release to this fire. This fire is going to hold and ground the energy for everything for through this whole ceremony. I've done it before, it's not a problem. So whatever you need to send, I will catch it and I'll give it to the fire.
Yeah, and now there's another group, Jerry, who may be joining you in that. I'll hear back again tomorrow.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, there's some tribal friends, and they're up near the redwoods at the mouth of the Klamath, where the salmon have been allowed to come back, giving them space. So they're talking about that as well. They were going to do something anyway, and they said, "Can we add it to yours?" Yeah. So I'll let you know. But anyway, there's going to be a lot of people doing various things. We're going to have a fire going, I understand, in New Zealand. Chris has a pack of matches, so he's all set. Welcome, Chris. I think you're the furthest one away today. Yeah, I would say that's the case. Yep. And some people, I don't know why, but some people, sometimes you get tossed out. So yeah, just come back in. I'll watch. I see a couple people already have had to. Okay. Whew. I guess one other thing, when we do speak, especially today, because there's a lot of us here, I'll get some opening thoughts in a minute from. All right, so the Youth Council hopes that somebody here in the active circle, so it can be recorded, would do the opening. Does anybody feel particularly moved to do an opening prayer or blessing? Mr. Who's that? Ah, yes, Mr. Black-tailed Deer.
Yes. Tewa, tukunungwa, wasa, tusquamingwa, opokoni, tetuna, tevyuka, kuniwina, tusquamingwa. Oh, so, oh, tumseeing nahi. Creator, grandfather, grandfather, son, grandmother earth, spirits of the four directions, spirits of our ancestors, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our male relatives, our female relatives, all those who have walked on, and for the generation that is soon to come. We send forth this voice to you. We welcome you. We ask you to be with us, to ground this beautiful, wonderful energy of the circle, to guide us and fill this circle with your light, your love, and your guidance as always. We call in all of our elder brothers and sisters. This is for you. You are welcome here always, within all of our hearts. We ask you to be present, to guide us in this circle, to continue to give us your love and your guidance as you always do. And we thank you. All my relations. Aho.
Aho. Aho. Okay, so the grandmothers have arrived. So it's the 6 who have been coming, and there's now a 7th. We welcome her. Her name is Virginia. She's visiting one of the other grandmothers and asked if she could listen. Well, anybody's welcome and everybody's welcome if you come with a good heart. And we now have 17 people with Tom on Pine Riz. And the rest of them are there to support the young people, the Youth Council. They like that. They like that label as well. So that was a good one. All right. Wow. I'm gonna run out of chairs. That's a good thing. Oh, animals. I'll open for a moment and then shift somewhere. The animal nations, I've always worked heavily with them. Always, my whole walk. Especially once I was gifted the name Grey Wolf by my Lakota family. But now it's coming in stronger than ever before. And I'm seeing some of the messages in my heart, the way we have treated the animals over the years. As it came to me 2 nights ago, and I shared this a couple places, there's some telltale things. 70% of, I'm looking here because Tom's sharing this too, 70% of the birds in Turtle Island are gone. they've disappeared over the last 50 years. In other words, in my lifetime, in the lifetimes of some of you. That's unconscionable. Some it's been done intentionally, some not. The wolves, we know, they hunt constantly. On and on and on. It's how do we adjust now? Because they are family too. Mitaka Yase, as I was taught, means all my relations, not just those of us on two legs. And in my way, and what I was hearing the other night too was, do we not honor the First Nations? And who are the First Nations? Is it some of us who are tribal? Is it the settlers? Is it others? No, it's the animals. They were here long before us. They're with us here now, and they may well be here after us. Who knows? So I'm looking for ways to open that even more. And there's a lot of people who have interest in that. So today I thought we'll just explore that topic. Where we go with it, I'm not sure. Since our youth council is the real lead today, they may have some interesting thoughts on that as well. So I think that's all I have about opening this up to that. My screen's doing some, oh, I see why. It's because there's so many of us. Whoops, okay, it's working. I think also because there's so many of us, we generally do it anyway. When you get recognized and speak, 2 minutes, 3 at the most, so we have time to move this thing around and keep it going. And you can hold Jerry and I to that too, so we don't get, the exception is when Jerry's doing stories. Okay.
Speaking of which,
Go. It's a good time, and I can look here.
so speaking of the animals, our elder brothers and sisters, they were here first. They were put here so that they could guide us. That's that's their responsibility. And how have we thanked them? As Jim said, so many have disappeared. We must remember them. In the spirit of what they do, this story that no one has ever heard here, Jim has never heard either. This story is the story of Mother Bluebird and Caterpillar. Mother Bluebird was enjoying her summer days. Each morning she would sit in a beautiful orchard for a time as she prepared for the day. As she sat there one day, she met Mother Caterpillar. They visited in a friendly manner, and they agreed to do this every day. From then on, Mother Bluebird stopped there each morning and each evening before the sun went down. Soon she started stopping there in the middle of the day for her resting period. Bluebird and Caterpillar became good friends. All through the summer they visited in this manner. Slowly the leaves began to fade and the nights got cooler. Summer was coming to an end. One day Bluebird remained with Caterpillar in the morning. She did not go off on her usual gathering. Caterpillar, my friend, summer is ending. The leaves are turning and falling. Soon it will be time for me to go. Where will you go, my friend? Each year when summer fades, we journey south to a winter home where it is warmer. Where will you be in the wintertime? Oh, I go nowhere. Oh, you remain here. Well, I look forward to visiting with you next summer. Shall we meet here in this orchard in the spring? I will not be here, my friend. But you said you stay here for the winter. No, I said I do not go. You see that I am much too slow to migrate. It takes me half the day just to get up onto this tree to eat. You remain here and hibernate for the winter then? No, my friend. I cannot hibernate. I do not have that power. I have laid my eggs in a warm place, my friend. They will hatch in the spring. Perhaps you will visit my children and tell them of our friendship. Well, what of you, my friend? Mother Bluebird, I cannot migrate. I cannot hibernate. I cannot find a warm place to spend the winter because I would have nothing to eat. I eat only fresh living leaves. Do not be sad for me, my friend. I have had a good life this summer and good friendship indeed. But now it is time for me to go, to return to our mother. But let us continue to visit in this good way until you go, my friend. Mother Bluebird agreed, but she was still determined to help her friend. She sought out Spider Grandmother and offered her a gift for her advice and help. The old wise one accepted the gift and agreed to help. There are things you must do, Mother Bluebird. Go and gather me some pine pitch and bring it here. Then go where flowers still bloom and get two colorful petals. They must be identical. Then find a prickly pear and bring me a handful of the little spikes. Mother Bluebird did not question this. She just went about and did as she was instructed. When she had brought all those things to Spider Grandmother, the old one gave her further instructions. Now you must bring your friend to me. Are you strong enough to carry her on your back as you fly? I will do it, Spider Grandmother. So she returned to Caterpillar. My friend, I hope you will not be angry with me for interfering, but I was determined to help you. And so I have gone to Spider Grandmother. She has agreed to help. She told me to bring you to her. Oh, my friend, I am too slow. I am too heavy for you to carry. Bluebird insisted. And finally, Caterpillar consented to trying. So Caterpillar climbed onto her back. She was very heavy indeed, but Bluebird summoned up all her strength. Flapping her wings harder than ever before, she managed to get airborne. She had to pause and rest many times, but she did carry Caterpillar to Spider Grandmother. Mother Caterpillar, your friend, Mother Bluebird is a very good friend, said Spider Grandmother. A very good friend indeed. She has interceded on your behalf, and we have to agreed to help you. Mother Bluebird, you should return and get your husband. It will take time for both of you to carry Caterpillar back when we are finished. So Mother Bluebird left and returned to her home and explained everything to her husband. While she was gone, Spider Grandmother began her work. She gave Caterpillar some medicine to eat. Now, in a moment, this will give you the power to create silky threads like I do. But you won't make a web. You will wrap this around like a blanket. You will be ready to do this by the time I have finished. She then took some spittle from her mouth and rubbed it on the sides of Caterpillar. Then numbed the skin of Caterpillar. Spider Grandmother then made a long cut on each side of Caterpillar. She dabbed the pine pitch on the wounds. Then one by one she took the colorful flower petals. Using the cactus spike, she fashioned one to each side. Then she rubbed the rest of the pine pitch on the wound to help it heal. She folded the petals around Caterpillar and told her to begin her spinning. It was incredible. Caterpillar felt no pain, and suddenly she could spin silk like Spider. As she spun, she turned and rolled so that it could begin to wrap around her. When the bluebirds returned, they found Spider Grandmother sitting with an odd-looking bundle. Where is my friend, Caterpillar? She is inside, said Spider Grandmother. Mother Bluebird looked at this odd thing. She had never seen anything like it. She circled it, looking around at it from all angles. Now, Mother Bluebird, you and your husband must take this back to the place where Caterpillar was last. Put it in a secure place in the brush or a tree there. This will keep her warm through the winter. They thanked the wise old one. Working together, they managed to carry that bundle back to the spot where Caterpillar had last been eating. You have done well, my wife. This is a good thing you do for your friend. Now we have to go. All our relatives have already left. We must leave too, before it gets too cold. All that winter long, Mother Bluebird thought of her friend Caterpillar. Back in the harsh winter of the north, she trusted that Spider Grandmother, that her medicine worked, and she was eager to see her friend again in the spring. When they returned north in the spring, Mother Bluebird immediately went in search of her friend. But that odd pouch was there yet. Bluebird would perch nearby and call her friend, telling her it was time to wake up, and for now spring had returned. Each day she stopped there to check on it. One very warm day, she determined that she would sit there and relax for a while. As she sat there, she saw movement from the pouch. Flowers emerged. She recognized them as the flowers she had picked last fall from Spider Grandmother. No, they were not flowers. They were wings. A slender creature emerged and sat there, opening those bright wings to the sun, and then moving them to dry there. Bluebird, my friend, you have returned. Caterpillar? Yes, my friend. As you see, I have been transformed. Thanks to you and Spider Grandmother, caterpillars will now spin themselves a cocoon like this in the spring. They will emerge, as I have, as a butterfly. I thank you so much for this gift, my friend. And that is the story of Mother Bluebird and Caterpillar and how butterfly came to be.
Beautiful. I I also like. I've heard that story before, but it wasn't with Bluebird. It was with, I believe, Hawk. I don't remember. And I always like that, the way from tribe to tribe, some of the stories have been shared, but the specifics change. So, and I love that story. It's a great story. It's also interesting because here in one of my windows, I'm getting a bit of a draft. I've got a spider who decided to weave an elaborate web there. And so I have no intention of closing the window. So it's open about that much until her time is done. So it's a little chilly, but it's a great reminder. Iktomi watches over. Good one, Jerry.
What do the youth have to say? Anything yet?
Yep. First of all, they thank you. They do love your stories. So yes, they're speaking about, as they were taught as well, all my relations, Ducky, I say, is all creatures. Why then do we not take at least as good care of our animal family as our two-legged family? And we are often guilty here on the res. Too many dogs that are not given proper care or respect. Why is this? Okay, who wants it?
Who wants to handle that? Please raise your hand or
Anyone?
just open your mic and start speaking if you want. There's a lot of people, so we might not see your hand. So if you got your hand
Oh
up,
no, that's all right. We'll wait for the hand. Otherwise, they'll talk over each other. We'll see your hand. Just wave frantically.
Brother Chris.
Ah, our brother from down under.
I can only speak from my position, but I know I listen to the mother, and what she's been showing me recently is I have to open my heart and feel myself as equal with our brothers and sisters who walk on four legs, two wings, fish, whatever. And when we got caught up in the belief of separation, we separated ourselves from these beings and also from the equality which we hold with all of life. And it's just coming back to that is what I've been getting taught very strongly. Equal, and that's where our hearts are in love with each other. Talking stick in the middle.
Good, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, and they mentioned, okay, so they mentioned, again, sometimes I paraphrase because it's long and often choppy. Thanks, Tom. They mention, yeah, we feel all people are not taking care of the animals. We just want it to be clear we do not remove ourselves from that. I think they mean responsibility. Yeah, no, we got that, absolutely, and it is everybody for sure. I work lately quite a bit with the rescued animals, and I'm just watching so many, and they bring them here into Arizona because there's kill states around us. New Mexico's a big one for that. I don't understand that mentality, to be honest. I really don't. So there is a big need there. Jerry.
So one of the reasons that the spirits chose me to tell that particular story. In that story, what happened? In that story, you saw friendship, you saw sacrifice, you saw all the beautiful things that Mother Bluebird did so her friend could continue to live. That very that, that very gift, that very love has been neglected. This world has the programming, the way of thinking that we have, and I wouldn't give it a label because labels, I won't say what anything, but that way of thinking that's engulfed this world has had us forget and had us believe that we are the pinnacle of the species. How arrogant, how egocentric. Our elder brothers and sisters teach us. They embody those teachings. You've heard some of you heard me share that story about the first elders and how they were told that have no worry. If they forget any of those teachings that were given to them, all they had to do is look in nature because all truth dwelt in nature. That is the foundation. That is what we've gotten away from and forgotten. Yes. And how can we get that back? Just as Mother Bluebird did for Mother Caterpillar, giving of herself and giving of her time. For the animals, even if it's something simple as remembering them in prayer each day, being gentle and remembering the animals that are around you, your dogs. Is that energy that you are creating, you're giving into the world. So even though it seems like it has no effect, it has more effect than you realize. What you create and what you place in this world is then in the world. So if you give love in your prayers, in your thoughts, in your actions, you are placing it in the world, and that will have an effect, and you will see it begin to change. I promise you. I know it to be true. It's not just experience. I know this to be true. I've seen it happen. I felt it. I was taught how to use that energy in that way. That is how we pray. That is how we create together by that selfless giving from ourselves, from our spirit, and from love. Stick in the middle. Marcy, I believe, wants to speak.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Okay, Marcy next.
Hello, everyone.
Hi there.
I would have to say that respect, or in this case, lack of respect that has occurred as a result of the separation and the ego that says I'm something and you're not, or whatever those levels and judgments are, has created respect to be diminished. And therefore, when we look at animals, in our thought process that we've developed, okay, they are less than us when in fact they are our brothers and sisters. Like he said, they came before us. And so I think learning to respect ourselves, first of all, that's the main thing that's been lost. We disrespect ourselves, so we disrespect everything around us. So gaining that self-respect back is by trying to walk in, oh, not trying, that's the wrong word, by walking in a more beautiful manner, then we will turn around and love everything else around us and therefore have respect. That's just my thought. And thank you very much. And talking stick back to the center.
Thank you very much, Marcy, and that is very true. And I'm very much looking forward to our next speaker also. Grandmother Barbara, welcome so much. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. This is a personal story because I find that if you talk to the plants and you talk to the animals, they talk back. So several years ago, we went to the shelter and we got a dog and we brought the dog home and we named him Sage. And he was obnoxious. He would not listen. He would not obey. He wouldn't look at us. He turned his head. And finally, I walked out and I said, Sage, what's the matter? And I heard, my name is not Sage. My name is Cedar. And so we called him Cedar, and he became one of the most obedient dogs we had ever owned instantly. So, to look at the animals and the plants and things from a distance and not understand that they too have voices, they too have perspectives, that they walk beside us. I had a similar experience when I swam with the dolphins.
Let's do one more quick one, Barb, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I just was going to say I had a
Good,
similar
good.
Let's
response.
let grandmother finish, please. Grandmother.
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, so they're moving into, they hearing you guys talking to the animals. Barbara, you were just talking to it. Jerry, I think you were. They're asking, how do you hear the animals? Do you hear them in spirit? Do you actually hear their voices? Or do you understand their growl and bark?
Grandmother, you want to answer that, please?
Yeah.
Grandmother Barbara?
I'm finished.
Who else? Kai.
Hello, beautiful people, soul spirits. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having this wonderful circle. I feel really in alignment. The Eastern bluebird came up to me today, and I bought a 25-pound of bird bag of bird food and explained to the lady checking me out it was my Christmas present to the winged ones, which brought her much delight. And she goes, "Why don't we remember them?" And I was thinking, well, I do. Maybe this will help you to remember. So I'm really happy. I feel an alignment. I hear the voices of animals, and it's both. It's an intuitive knowing, and sometimes it's a straight up voice. My rescue poodle told me straight up, like she's the mama, not me. And she explained all the things she did around the house. She didn't understand why I threw away good vegetables that she could eat, and things like that, like things you would not expect. And that I'm worth, and every person is worth infinite love. So I think if you enter the stillness within, that you can understand these things, but it takes turning to that inner world, resolving any kind of emotional or trauma as much as possible. Do the work so you can be present and listen deeply. I love you all. Thank you for holding this wonderful circle. Thank you. Thank you, Jerry, for that great story. Thank you so much.
Before we go on, I would
Yeah.
like to offer some tobacco to Grandmother Barbara and apologize for you being cut off in the middle of a story. I apologize for that disrespect. I deeply apologize, and I ask you to give us another chance. And I put this tobacco down for you. Thank you, Grandmother.
And as timekeeper, I will step in, always with respect, but I want to make sure we respect the 40 plus people who are with us. So yeah, it's not meant as any disrespect. It's not meant to just stop immediately either. It's just like, okay, including myself, I do it too.
Knowing the old ones as I've been around them, if they're interrupted,
Yep.
and I fully understand if you do not come back and speak, Grandmother, because that was a disrespect to the highest order. And
Okay. And so again, as we go across cultures, and I go across many, and I've been with so many elders, yeah, we have to
some
work
things we cannot
always
compromise.
in your world, yes, not in mine. And we do it respectfully. And if I get too long-winded, I want someone to say, "Hey, Jim, slow down," or "Step aside." So it's a different way to do it. So we have to come together and figure out what's the best way going forward, I think. Anyway, yeah. Apologies if it was felt that way. It was certainly not meant to. I'm looking at the clock, and the kids are asking me, "Okay, can we ask something now?" So, yeah, I'm looking at a lot of different things too. Okay. What else? Does anyone else have something to add to this part of it? Oh, David.
Oh, good evening, relatives. My adding to that would be that, regardless of if we're human species or what species we are, if you're dealing with spirits, spirits can communicate on all levels. So, if you are truly right with your spirit and the spirit within yourself, you should be able to communicate with any species be it animal, whatever, bird, you know, it's something that I try to shoot for, that my spirit is capable of being able to do that sort of thing. So I continually try to work on listening to the spirits within. As long as I keep doing that, hopefully I'll get a little better and better at listening to the spirits of others, but that's all I had to share, that, once you get right with spirit, the spirits are all on the same level, so thank you.
Yeah, great point for sure. The the grandmothers are typing something in here as well, and from the young people. Yes, the spirits don't know color, size, walk, or even species. Is that what you're trying to say? Yep. You're getting a thumbs up, guys. I know you can't see it on phone, but yes, that's exactly what David was trying to say. And I'm in total agreement with that. Okay, so here come the grandmothers on the other side of this. It's much easier when we sit. This is grandmother who we know, Jerry Kai, who was with the other group until she went home. When we sit in circle, in presence, okay, she means physically, it's much easier to move things around, and time does not matter. When we do these things around many places, it can be harder, and so we have to accommodate all ways. A hard thing to do. I know no disrespect was meant. I feel that. I feel that. And I know your work. At the same time, how do we honor all the different ways and still get to share our hearts? That's the question. How do we honor each and yet still have the ability to share our hearts without sitting on here for 24 hours, which some of my elders would have liked? Jerry, you got it.
There are certain things that no matter what part of the world you're from, indigenous, respect for the grandmothers and grandfathers, for the elders, always remains a constant. You said in the beginning you would not interrupt my story. However, you did interrupt the story. Some things must be kept. Sure, we're going into a new world, all walks of life, certain things. So should we abandon respect for children, respect for animals? Where do we cross that line? Where do we stop? Where do we, what traditions do we decide, and do we decide this unilaterally based on our individual sense of right and wrong? Or do we maintain certain things of respect and decorum? I agree, this is something that needs to be discussed and talked about.
I do too. It might be a whole subject in and of itself. This came up today in another meeting. I was not facilitating it. I was one of the people there. There were about 17 of us, and this kind of bears it. So, and I'm considered one of the elders in that circle. Not by me, but by those who are in it. Although I think most of us in that circle are gray hairs. And so we sat there, 17 of us. And the person who was facilitating it allowed, even after they had, respectfully kind of did what I did, please try to keep it to 2 or 3 minutes so everybody has a chance. After about close to 20 minutes, one person was still speaking. And so probably 3/4 of the people in that circle never got a chance to speak before our time allotment was up. So it is difficult. How do we do that? If we're sitting in circle, many times, I'm sure just like some of you, I've sat there for hours and happy to do so. Versus, okay, how do we do that if we want everybody to be respected and have time Is there another way? Can we wave a flag? Can we? And yeah, I don't, and I'm trying not to be too quick with anything. Maybe I was. That's possible too. I'm looking at all these different things all over the place, and I want to make sure everybody gets their chance. So, and sometimes in trying to be respectful to all, it gets fouled up with respect to one. That's all I'm thinking. Jenny.
Hi, I'm Jenny, for those of you who don't know, and I facilitate quite a few circles, and so this has been something that's come up in my circles as well. And I know that when I have put in a time limit, there are people who have felt like rushed, so they're not able to be authentic. And then so we have it's kind of trying to find that balance. I absolutely understand how hard that can be. And I don't think I've even perfected it. But I do know there's ways to do it that are gentle. So the offense doesn't come as so. And I think just as long as we offer the tobacco and apologize, that's great. But I understand, I feel what you're saying, Jim. It happens
Mm,
quite a bit in the circles. And so
yeah, it does.
20 minutes seems a bit, I think interjecting at that point would be the absolute right thing to do. But again, if we give somebody a time limit, then they feel rushed, and that authenticity, whether you're a grandmother or not, sometimes is choked back. And so I used to give 3 minutes, and now I just ask people to be mindful. And I reiterate that throughout the meeting, especially if we do get somebody long-winded. So I just wanted to chime in there and say that for all circles, that is kind of a thing. But Jerry's absolutely right. The grandmothers, um, you know, um, it's different, I guess, in the indigenous view of things. But again, there are a lot of people here. So thank you for letting me speak. And I just wanted to chime in, and that's a real thing going on. So thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. Yeah, those are some really good points, and this is going to be more and more of a thing as we all come together. Today, the person who went, I thought, really way overboard, is a friend of mine. But it wasn't for me to speak because I wasn't running that thing. Although I found out afterwards, 3 of us had sent him little side messages. He never looked over at the chat. So it was a great lesson for everybody. And nobody was even angry, but it's like, he realized it too. He said, oh man, there's probably 5 or 6 people that never spoke but I got carried away. Not that that was the case here today. It wasn't, not at all. And you're right. Maybe I need to just let it flow a little bit more. If it gets too long, then, and sometimes someone else will step up too. It doesn't have to be the person in charge. Okay. Well, we didn't see this discussion coming, but it's a good one.
Marcy?
Marcy.
I think it's rather comical that I spoke of respect before all this tumbled out. So, am I responsible? Jeez. No, I'm just kidding. It's just it was perfect how it all came about. But my goodness, that's all.
Okay. All right, so that's good. So we will assign that. It was all Marcy's fault. And now we can move on.
Hey, wait a minute.
Just kidding. Just a little
I
Heyoka there.
I get it. I get it.
I know. Whew, okay. Oh, okay.
So anyway, it was a good lesson in the
Absolutely.
ultimate of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these shows never go exactly where yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so from our co-facilitators, the Youth Council. Okay, I'm getting the gist. I've been reading this as they're doing it. All right, so the gist of it is this. They still, and they use the word still at one point, yeah, often have elders who tell them to sit and be quiet and listen to the teachings. How can we get balance? How can we be heard too? And they were saying something, especially in these times, we have to hear everybody. And that's a really good question. And God, probably 40 years I've been coming up with that from other folks. Who wants to take that one?
I will,
Go.
and I will do so with a story. Some of you may have heard this story before. I do so with the story because it relies on the guidance of our ancestors. And in these times, the prophecies from many tribes speak of that many of these things have happened before, and how we are to get through, or we are to continue to follow the original instructions that we were given by Creator. So I return to the stories that embody those instructions. This is history. So this story takes place during the Great Migration. The people were still on their Great Migration. There was at that time a young man who traveled with the people who had developed a very close relationship with Wolf. When he wasn't taking care of his responsibilities, he spent all his time with the local wolf packs. He became so close that he even began to speak and understand their language. The people began to call him Niqueo, for he truly was Wolf's brother. It was at a time when Niqueo was away from the people with the local pack that supplies were getting low as they traveled. And they began looking around. They decided that this place might be a good place to stop, to pause and build up supplies, or maybe this would even be the place where they would belong for all time. So they began preparing the encampment. Right away, there was problems. Wolves seemed to walk boldly through the encampment, right through the middle of it. Eventually, this created the hardship because all warriors couldn't go out because they had to stay to protect the meat racks and the elders that were taking care of those things. One day, a warrior even killed a wolf. I had to, he explained to the council. I had no choice. The wolf boldly walked up and snatched some food. And when he was approached and to try to get it to drop it by an elder, he turned and growled. So the people decided that they must have a council to discuss what to do about this matter. At the council, it was decided that there was no choice, that there must be a wolf hunt. Niqueo was with the local pack at the time. As the days went forward, he noticed that fewer and fewer seemed to be returning from their hunts. Until one day, all that seemed left were the two alphas and one other. They stood up and headed in a direction they had never went before. The alpha female turned and looked back at Niqueo, and he realized she was saying goodbye. They were leaving. Puzzled and confused by this, Niqueo went back to his people. The encampment at this time was now a permanent village. And as he was walking through the village, he saw many racks of hides, wolf hides, hanging to dry, be cured, restretched. Confused and angered by this, he went before the Kikmungwi, the leader of the village, and demanded to know what had happened. Niqueo was a young man, but as the Kikmungwi spoke, a great weight seemed to descend upon his shoulders, and his head dropped. But when the Kikmungwe finished, he looked up. There was a fire in his eyes. He said, "Why was I not called back to be a part of this council? I have as much right to have my voice heard as anyone." At this council, there were those who spoke for the children. At this council, there were those who spoke for the elders, for the warriors, and for the women. If you had called me back, I would have told you that the place that you chose to put your village was on the ancestral hunting grounds of these wolves. They tried to tell you from the beginning by walking directly through the middle of the encampment. They tried to show you that you were depriving them of their ability to get food by taking the food that they so desperately needed, that you had hunted, and you disrupted their hunt. All we had to do was move our village to one side or the other. At this council, there were those who spoke for everyone, who spoke for Wolf. The people, to this day, still remember this lesson. In life, there are many unknowable things, but we must pause to consider all things and how our actions affect all of life. Even those unknowables, we must take time to pause and consider before we act, so that we act as one, and so all in balance and harmony remain. So at the councils, there still stands to this day amongst the people one who stands up to remind us and says, who speaks for Wolf? Thank you. Talking stick in the middle.
Good. Yeah, I love that story. And right now, it's interesting because there's a lot of going on, not just with wolves, but the foxes are all being completely moved out of their environment. So they're showing up in places and being attacked by people. The people not realizing it's a reaction to their actions that's causing that. So actually, to the young folks, to our council there, and you're right. You're absolutely right. I've been walking that since, at least 30 years. And I would get questions early on, since I didn't grow up in any one culture and I didn't work with only one. I would be asked, hey, Jim, a lot of the young people seem to work with you or come and listen to you, and how come we're not getting them anymore? And, it's not that I do anything special except listen. And young folks, you're asking that question, and here today, you are the youth council because you asked. We thought it was a great idea, and Tom up there put it together. And so we do respect it, and a lot of people do. We just have to let that evolve as well. All these pieces need work, no question. How do elders interact with young people? It's not been a good thing over the years. I totally agree with you on that. But we will learn that too. That's just my answer because I have walked in that often. The grandmothers are saying, let's get back to the animals. And part of the answers here come from the animals. They love Jerry's story. They were just talking of the wolves as well. Wolves do know how to not control. What is this word? Understand how they interact, and that's true. If one goes on too long, and if someone doesn't agree with that, the wolves act and react, always with kindness, unless it doesn't work. Okay, so yeah, I mean I'm not quite sure the whole intent there. Maybe Jerry gets it, but if we watch nature and watch animals, we learn how to do a lot of things better because they just do it without anything getting in the way. There's no emotions in the way. There's no feelings in the way other than survival or safety. Those are the two that can impinge that. So yeah, and I mean, that's part of what we were meant to talk about and continue to talk about. Jerry, did you have a hand up?
I didn't have a hand up, but I will speak. Yes. Go ahead, Scott. You had a hand up? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Scott. I didn't see that.
Oh, that's all right. Is that me? Am I the only Scott?
Yes, I believe so. I don't know. I
I
just saw your hand
think
up.
so, but yes.
Okay. So I wanted to reply to your comment about communicating with animals. And I was just thinking of some moments that where I communicate with animals. I get along with dogs and cats too, I guess. But I say hello to lizards when I see them in my yard. I say, "Hi, lizard." I feel and usually they skitter off, but sometimes they look like they sit and listen. And I remember another moment that was just amazing that I was by the movie theaters in my area, and a dragonfly I opened my hand and turned it around and thought peaceful, and it landed on, or maybe turned it backwards, but whatever angle it was on, the dragonfly landed on my hand, and it was amazing to me. But I just wanted to mention about videos on social media that I look at a lot show animals of every kind, and it's been amazing. I've always loved animals, but it's sort of, and so a lot of it may be AI, but not all of it. But when you see these videos, you see every kind of animal, from cows and little sugar glider flying squirrels and raccoons, just loving their human like owner, or other animals. Like I just watched a video about a fox that followed a what's that white dog, big dog that golden retriever, I think. And the golden retriever was very sick and going around in a cart, and this fox followed it, and with great concern in its face, and the dog was very, very sick. And I thought, I think when I see these videos, that animals have a human-like spirit, and I more than I've ever realized before. That's what I wanted to share, and I also wanted to see what it takes to get recognized. I kept putting my hand, and I thought, do they even see this? But so that's what I just want to share to everyone, that if you haven't seen YouTube videos, and if you haven't had these experiences living in a city like me, of seeing animals with a spirit and soul, it's amazing. That's all I have to say. You can put the stick back.
Thanks. It is amazing. And yeah, if you hold your hand up, then we can, because there are a bunch of us, like Jerry said earlier. If you know
So
how to,
Scott, what you would do is where it's you'll see a heart icon that says react. If you click on the heart icon,
yeah,
there's different things, and one of them is raise your hand. So you click
I
on
don't
that.
I don't
Are
see a
you,
hard eye.
are you on your phone?
I totally don't understand technology, even though I use spreadsheets and
yeah.
Excel documents.
Okay, I'll keep an eye
Well,
out. So if you
yeah,
want to speak again, I'll watch for your hand, your physical hand.
I think
good,
once is enough. I just want to be recognized, recognized and participate and
good.
share my comment about animals.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And that is
Thank you.
that is a great, yeah, no, that's a great comment. Should I share a quick story talking about the animals and spirit? I could share a little bit about Crystal. You think, Jerry?
Let's give it. There's two hands up. Let's let
Okay,
Zahn
we can
speak.
go there
Then yeah.
first. I think Jenny was first, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Not that it matters, but I'm trying to do them as they. Go ahead, Jenny.
I'm just going to be quick. Thank you, Jim. I just wanted to go back to it, made me think when we were talking about the animals. Animals know their purpose, right? It's their instinct, and we are disconnected, at least in the world that I live in, from our purpose. And we are guided by people who are always searching for that purpose as children and disconnecting us as well. And so as humans, that reconnection is what I'm thriving for. And I think when it doesn't include the all, and so when we have just a council of grandmothers and not a council of youth, it's off balance. Um, so that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, great point. And that's exactly the point. It is out of balance if we're not all represented, in my view, anyway. Others may not agree. Z?
Are you still on mute? See?
You're on mute. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that kind of falls in line with what I was going to say anyway. So, Scott, Jenny, thank you. Thank you. I resonated with that. Yeah, I agree. Um, there's kind of a theme going on, Scott. I live in Florida. We have lizards here
Mm,
everywhere. And I try to practice with my children in communicating with the trees and with the plants because the children are extremely important. We need their perspective, especially if we're teaching them things that we didn't know until we were older, right? So
right.
anyway, we sit outside, and when it comes to the lizards, with many animals, there's many around. What you want to do is just be silent and listen because they have things to teach you, ancient things to teach you, older things that you don't pay attention to because we're too busy not listening. So, you know, part of, I kind of think that's a theme. Um, I just lost what I was going to say. But when you're connecting with animals, I notice it's like that with every one of them. If you just sit there for a moment and you become silent and still and listen to them for a moment, then you can speak authentically. And if it's in love, like I'll do silly things like look at it and say, "Oh my goodness." But when I say it, I start to really feel it. I look at the lines in the lizard and I go, "Oh my goodness, you're so beautiful. Look at those lines on you. How are you so pretty?" And they respond. You keep doing it, but when you do it, you feel it. That's how you connect. And they feel that. And they'll sit there and close their eyes and they will come closer. It's just letting them know that you actually do have the ability to love something that they're used to us just not even paying attention. Definitely not listening. So I think that's something that's part of the old way of thinking, the old world. And if this is the shift, if we are in it right now, then we are now learning how to practice. And practice makes perfect, right? For the new world. So we start to begin to listen to things so that we can learn what they're trying to tell us from a different perspective, a perspective that we haven't really learn to embody as far as paying attention to. So, yeah. So that's, I think, a lesson with connecting with animals and with connecting to anything that you might not truly understand because maybe, you know, anyway, yeah.
That's good. And the youth council, coming off of what you're saying, do we all connect with animals in the same way? That's not, oh, I see. That's not what we have experienced, I think. I'm not sure who it's coming from in the council. So do we all connect with them in the same way? Do they speak to us in the same way? Do the same animals speak to us? Okay, there's other bits of that, but that's enough to put out there. Marcy, do you want that or do you want something else?
Pardon me?
Do you want to answer that or do you want to bring in another point?
I wanted to bring in something else, but
Okay.
my point that I was going to bring up was Z was talking about, talking with the lizards and listening to the lizards. I think another respect issue is we look at the big animals like the eagles and the bears and the wolves as ultra cool and ultra important, but a lizard or an ant or anything slug in between all have something that they represent when it comes to the historic time frame of our planet, like reptiles are foundational. Okay, they hold a lot of knowledge, like Z had said, ancient knowledge, because they've been here since they crawled out of the sea. And so, if we start to give respect and regard to everything as just as equally important, I think that's very helpful. And to listen and speak to each type of animal, you know, I'm lizard woman, and so I deal with lizards pretty well, like how I am.
Mhm.
Horses, I was with horses the other day, and I still spoke with them the same way, except I knew I was talking to a horse in my mind instead of a lizard, but I was still open and loving and respecting any attention they gave to me and giving love to them and being silent so that I could possibly hear and within my mind what they had to share with me. I don't know if that will help answer that question or not, but there's my input. Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
Marcy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think, no, they don't always speak to people in the same way, nor do the same animals. And the lizards are coming up. So I'm in the desert. We have lizards. When I lived outside of Santa Fe, up on a mountain with my ex, she had a big cat, and we have lizards everywhere, of course. skittering all over the place. I always loved lizards, so I was cool. But her cat was getting sick, and we'd take it to the vet, and wow, we don't know what's going on, but it's affecting kidneys. And the cat was getting sicker and sicker, and my ex was watching the cat to see what was going on, but she couldn't see anything. She was careful what she fed her, and so finally, I was sitting outside in this little patio area we had, and the lizards were all over. And I said, lizard people, do you have any understanding for why you animals are getting ill? And I got it so strong. Well, yes, of course we know why that cat is ill. There was a little flap, like an animal flap, so the cat could get outside. And she would go out for a bit and then come back in. That was no problem. However, she was chasing the lizards and licking them. And on top of a lot of the lizards on their skin, it's poisonous. And so I went to the vet and I said, is there any, and he went, oh my God, I never thought of that. And that's exactly what it was. So we had to do away with that animal door, and the cat recovered. So there was animals talking to me in a way I didn't expect. I didn't expect them to answer a different question, but they did. I hope that helps. Valerie, I think you were next. Oh, excuse me.
First of all, I want to say how happy I am to hear the voices of the youth, and your voices are welcomed and appreciated, and I love the energy that you bring, and we all need that. To answer your question or to respond to it, there is both the seen and unseen, and when communicating, we do both. We can speak to the animals in an auditory kind of way, but I do think in my heart that the unseen way is a clearer way. But at least that's my experience of kind of a telepathic communication through my heart. It seems that they can hear me more clearly that way, because we speak the common language of the heart language. Now, I'm kind of new to all of this, but I have discovered that probably back in the spring, I began the tobacco offering. I had never done that before. And quite honestly, I don't fully understand tobacco offering, but I'm following the practice and learning while I'm doing it. I am discovering that as I give the tobacco offering, I'm beginning to hear more clearly. So there is something about the activity of offering, and I, in return, am beginning to hear not just the animals, but the plants and the living creatures all around me. So maybe somebody could explain why, but for some reason, that tobacco offering has been like kind of like a phone line. The best way that I could describe it, like a phone line between the worlds. So thank you.
Whoops, I couldn't find the button. Thank you. That was awesome. Melissa.
Hi. I put in the chat a book that came to mind that I read in my Waldorf teacher training, Kinship with All Life, J. Allen Boone. Just a classic, and it's a story about strong heart and a fly, so a dog and a fly and the communication. Um, but what I was thinking about was most recently I moved, and my dog named Bodhi, I have a 10 and he's 9-year-old Rottweiler, and he comes into session since I moved my office to home. I'm a social worker, I'm a therapist. I work with children and families. And he just answers, and he does not allow, like, my clients to stop petting him. And he's just he is a real life bodhisattva, and he just is just this intermediary force that just allows us to transmute all of our sorrow and our pain. And I just see it in him. And then often, if I have somebody that's really worked up, he has to go to the bathroom and has to go out, and his bowels shift in terms of the energy. So I think knowing that, and I had 4 animals die in 1 year in a house, and I knew I was the first house off the water district pump, and I knew that they were here, and they all had soft tissue sarcoma in the same spot, and I'm like, they are here, they're protecting us. I eventually just moved out of that house, but I knew that it was not a good area, and like the animals sacrificed themselves to share. So and to communicate with them again, I'm going to talk about numbers real quick. um, I just had we rescued 2 kittens, and they ended up coming to us with the names of my maternal grandmother Betty, and they came to me on the anniversary of my paternal grandmother's death date on 11/22. So there's so much to be shown, and that for me was just so much grandmother energy. So the message from our felines, specifically our little kitty cats, is return to the mother and the grandmothers and listen, because they're here and they're guiding us. And there's such that bridge between that. So thank you.
Yeah, there's bridges between many things. I'm glad you said bridge. Yeah, we don't just bridge one thing. We're bridging so many things now. And I've been a bridge for a long time. I've earned my gray hair, but there's things now I admit I'm not even sure how to begin to bridge them. So together we'll learn that. David.
Yes, good evening. Welcome. Thank you for being, I'm grateful to be here. Just to share in regards to the animals and plants for that intents purposes, and also to tie in Valerie's comment. In the offering, when you're offering with your heart, with the tobacco, you're opening the path, like the flow of that energy in the heart connection to nature. In my experiences, like when I step into the forest, I offer to connect with everything that's there to share in that space and ask permission. And that's a thing that's, I think, is also lost, is that we forget to ask if it's okay. If I'm going to go hug a tree or talk to a tree, did I ask its permission? Because it might be working on something. Or before I go pet a dog, did I say, are you okay if I come and share space with you at this time? And we forget to respect and honor each other's spaces, and also be inclusive of those things. Sometimes your dog or an animal's trying to get your attention. I've been in the forest where the bird's frantically trying to get my attention, and I'm thinking I'm in a meditative state or walking along, and I'm not listening as closely as I should. And then I realize, oh, you're trying to show me that you want me to connect to spirit in this way. You have a message for me. And it's by, as Valerie has said, through the heart is where the communication occurs. And when you're resonating in that space, the animals and nature are open to share with you, especially when you come with respect and offering, to hold that sacred space with them, because they've been waiting for that for so long, to be recognized and remembered in that special way. So I think that's really important. Thank you.
Yeah, that was, yes. Oh boy. And we have more and more coming. Good. Oh boy.
Anything more from the Youth Council, Jim?
Yeah, that's what I'm just looking now, Jerry.
Okay.
They would like yet another story if you have a good one on animals. Twice that's come up. This thing's cutting in and out, but I'm getting it. What will it take to get people to better, recognize our animals as family? Who wants to grab the hold that?
Anne Marie
Anne
and
Marie?
Peggy have got their hand up, Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Anne Marie?
Hello there.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. It's Peggy here. Up in Muskoka, Ontario, Canada. Been a beautiful winter. Thank you, David. That was beautifully shared. Really, I could feel your heart in your words. And in my experience, the animals recognize us and see us for our light and for the frequency in our heart. They see us as clear as day. We at one time had the ability to see them the same way and to see each other the same way. We're born with that. We we had that gift taken from us in these lifetimes. But if we remember to the past, animals are born with that same opportunity and they don't lose it. They don't know hate. They only know love. And so when they see us, they see our light. They see our heart frequency, so they know when we're afraid, when we're mad, when we're sad, they can actually see us. So if there's any comfort, especially for the youth, that really it can be as simple as that for your relationship with the animals, that asking for permission, really, really so important. And it's so something that's easy. It's easy to forget. We forgive ourselves for the moments when we do forget. But to remember that relationship and that communication and that respect, as Marcy mentioned, it's so important. But we are working now to remember those gifts for ourselves. And I think the more that the two-leggeds remember those gifts, and we're in a time where those gifts are going to come back to us, the more we can tune in with those gifts, the more we can do the work we need to do to fix the world for the animals. The animals are clearly asking us to fix this, and they'll be there to hold space for us, like all the nations, the standing nation, all of them, just loving on us. As we say, they don't always understand us, but they love us anyway. So any relationship with any of the nations, including, I always like to include the standing nation because they're such an important part of our infrastructure. And just know that, and it's the same with the child. The child also has that same sense and see the light, and they see the heart frequency. And we're gonna get more of those gifts back, but for the youth to nurture that very simple relationship of respect and honor. Thank you, Margaret. Because it's really important that we follow through on that, and it can be as simple as that, just giving respect, asking for permission to communicate, and just putting back that love and being the love frequency yourself and holding your own light in a beautiful way. That's how simple it can be, although it's not always simple, but it can
Thank,
be that simple if we choose to. Thank you.
thank you, Peggy.
Thanks,
Grandmother
Peggy. That
Barbara,
was good.
I see Grandmother Barbara's hand up.
Oh, good.
This is the message to the young people. Watch the animals. Uh, a good example is that when the eagle is attacked by the crows, it just flies higher, which teaches us that when there's a lot of chaos around us, we can just go higher and see it from a different perspective in that case. The other message for you is whenever an animal comes to you or appears to you, it is a message from spirit. So take the time to listen and see what that spirit has to say to you. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for coming back on. And yeah, they were hearing you, and they know that story, the fact that the eagle will fly higher is absolutely, it's one reason that our group was named Gathering of Eagles. Yeah, and they're okay, what are they asking? I'll get to all you guys, and I know we went out of order a little bit. I apologize, but that was important. Yeah, apologizing when we're wrong. How do we apologize to the animals? Okay, the same way. Um, I apologized. I'll apologize again to Barbara if she thought I cut her off too quickly. That was not my intention. If that's how it came out, then most apologies, because it certainly wasn't intended. And I try to run these so everybody gets a voice and everybody feels equal. And so that's really important. And you know what, guys? That's how you apologize to the animals. You can verbalize it if you want. I do. I talk to the animals, not just in my head and spirit, but I talk verbally. They do hear you. Somebody mentioned earlier, I don't remember who it was, that watch the animal in the end. It might have been with the lizards, and they'll be paying attention. They do. There is another interesting thing that came up today. Someone had sent me, and not that I care much about these kinds of laws, but it does. It's a way of thinking. In Pennsylvania, they passed a law that now all pets, I hate the word pets, but I'll let that go. All pets are now considered family members, not owners, not being owned by the families, but family members. They actually passed that. I've never had a pet. I've had animals that have agreed to walk with me and be with me. But just that awareness is a step forward. That's all. Who was next? Oh boy, who was next on hands? Was it Z?
Marcy's next in the list that I've.
Was she? Marcy, you're next. Thanks, Chris. I'm glad you watched that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to say that my teacher used to say that out of all the animals on the planet, human is the only one that has an identity crisis. And in that, we're not very humble when it comes to the other animals. So when the youth council, I believe, asked, well, how do you communicate? What's another way to communicate? I think by humbling ourselves and saying, you are my equal, and having sensitivity to what that creature is. It's sensitivity so that you can feel them, not just see them as a dog or, a lizard or, whatever, but a sensitivity that they are equal to you, to us, is another specific piece of it. And like I said earlier, coming with love and humility and just feeling them. And that's all I wanted to say. Just some more pieces.
No, that's
Thank
good.
you.
All the pieces are coming together. Chris,
Yeah.
were you next?
No, forgive me if my pronunciation's out. Zan?
Z? I just say Z.
Z.
Then you know it's right.
Hey, it's Zon, but
Za.
that one can speak. Here you go. If that's okay. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Zoe.
please.
Don't be nervous.
I have an idea how to help the animals, and I think we should not steal their homes and lands, because if we steal more of it, they'll soon have no place to stay.
Right.
So if we keep stealing their land, they might go extinct and never be seen again.
So what should we do?
So we should not steal as much as their land and share it with them.
Share it with them.
Very good. And
Thank you so much, Zoe.
yeah, Zoe, right? So Zoe, the youth council said they would like to make you honorary member of this youth council today.
Okay.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay. So they're saying welcome and thank you. Great. Thank you for that. Let's get a couple more people and then I'll bring the next piece. Now it's you, I think, Chris.
David's before me.
David, now it's you, David.
Yeah, just to tie in to what Zoe said, thank you for that beautiful message there, Zoe. And it's so true. Like you look in places like Iceland, where they talk to the fairies and the elves and the creatures to decide how they build roads. And we've long stepped away from saying why isn't there a council that embraces the animals to say how can we support you while still keeping our living in harmony. So that I think that's an important piece. There should be a council that in every place that helps to decide how things should be built to support that, support the animals and what they need. Second piece in regards to the family, it's just like you talked about in the Pennsylvania law, to make them a part of your family, honor them in the way that you would your own family. Give them the voice, give them the space, give them the place to speak their truth, and to allow them to show us all the gifts that they came here to show us. It's just that we've forgotten. And, if you go into a forest, things grow better in the forest than they do in our backyards, because we've forgotten to communicate with all of the creatures there, to that create that environment of wholeness. And when we create that, so we have a circle here where we put a stick in, and why can't it be the same in nature, where I sit and listen, and 2 ears and one mouth to hear twice as much as I speak, and really pay attention to what's going on in my steps with mindfulness. And there is so much that can be shown in just even a short walk. So just asking that you come with your heart to be connected with love, and that you want to share space in the most sacred way. And please, I'm open to the teachings because I've forgotten them.
Yeah, boy, you make some really good points, David. First of all, if we don't counsel with the land, a lot of difficult things can happen. We've had some happen around here, and some became deadly, actually. So that is an important element for sure. What was the other piece you were bringing up? Because they just commented, but my head's full, I guess. But yeah, that was a really big point. Listening to the animals, absolutely. It's really hard. Hell, we can't communicate well with each other as humans. And in a way, though, it's easier with the animals, because no ego's going to get in the way. It's just talk to them. So yeah, thank you. Now, Christopher, I think I'm right. It's your turn.
Yes, definitely. And thank you for that, David. You mentioned much that's in my heart as well, especially the nature spirits and things. Yeah. Um, Answering a question that came up a while ago, I find, and if we're wanting to talk to the animals, the first thing is feeling respect and honor for them, appreciation, love, seeing the beauty in them. Once we open those doorways, it literally, they feel acknowledged. And in that acknowledgement, the doorway is open both ways. And I can receive and I can give. Once again, it's an equality, because that's where we are. You can't communicate when you're not really in the place of listening, which is that equal place. Not listening to our interpretation, which is a brain activity, but listening to the intent from the animal. I do it with trees, with nature, with every animals I'm finding is the same thing. And just a quick short story. I've worked on a farm here for 15 years as a volunteer worker, and I've worked through a lot of emotions with the animals. And one thing it's taught me, if I be patient with them, and often I'll stand there in a paddock that's very big, and I'll point to them, can you go over here, please? We're taking you through the top gate in the corner of the paddock. And I say simple things like that, I am always surprised how many times they'll do exactly that, because I've communicated in an honest space, not forcing, not pushing, just respectful, and knowing they hear me, and they do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. They sure do. They listen. It's actually, and this I'll throw out and then turn it over to Jerry to wherever he goes with this next. This is an interesting one too. It's often easier to, well, I'm just going to paraphrase it. They're saying it's often much easier to talk to the animals, because they find when they talk sometimes to the humans, to the older ones, they get reprimanded. That's not the word they used, but anyway, that's what they mean. So how can we talk? Many young people won't talk. They're afraid of being disciplined, is I think what the word they mean. Jerry, your hand's up, so you got it.
Um, so it's not my place to tell anyone what to do. You asked a question, however, of us. And so because you asked that question, you have as much right to hear it, just like in the story. You are children. You are our future. I don't care what culture you come from. You are the future of our world. If that needs to be reminded, you need to exercise your right to be heard and do not do it in a disrespectful way, but continue to speak when you feel there's a chance, when there are ears to listen. Because if the ears are closed, then there's no sense even talking. But speak to the elders that you know will listen. Tom, the grandmother council, work with the council that you've asked to work with you and talk about these things. Talk amongst yourself. Have a talking circle. Have this talking circle and put the medicines in there. Smudge. Have that feather, that stick, and pass it around and talk about this. How can we do this? And ask, you know, just like we do here, ask those spirits and creator to be present and then listen to each other. But also, yes, respect seems to be the general theme here. Respect each other, but also listen. I keep hearing, and I share a teaching, listen or your own words will make you deaf. And I speak to not to the children, but to all the rest of us. The children have shown their ability to listen. They began when we began the circle. They came asking questions on what to do. I've watched them step up and become the change they want to see in the world. And the beautiful change that's happening because of that is apparent in their community as well as in this circle. It's beautiful to have you children here. When we say listen or your own words will make you deaf, it doesn't mean listen to your thoughts, listen to those around you. It means quiet the noise within you and listen to the guidance of your spirit. You children, you are following the guidance of your spirit. You know and you see what's wrong, and you are in the prophecies. The prophecies speak that our children will come and they will box the ears of their elders because they will awaken, they will be wanting guidance. And the elders and the adults will have fallen by the wayside and let the teachings and the instructions that we were given on how to live, they've let them fall by the wayside and forgotten them themselves and went to sleep. It is your job to remind us as the future of our world. It is your job to speak up and remind them. Find the courage. I can't tell you how to do that. It's all I can say is it's within you. The courage that you take and to come here and to be this youth council with the grandmothers. I've said it before, but it always makes my heart full. I thank you, and I ask you just keep being you. And if you feel the need to speak up, if you see something wrong, then find someone, an adult who will listen. Do not give up. We were behind you, and so are the ancestors and the animals and all life and creator. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, that's perfect. And the grandmothers are adding to what you say, and I speak with them. Don't give up. Speak your truth. And the grandmothers are saying some may strongly disagree. You have allow them to disagree and have that discussion. And you're right. And I mean, I do that a lot. I that's how I was trained. Make sure you have those discussions. They're important. And if it gets too intense, you can always walk away from a discussion. You know, that isn't always an option. There's free will in anything we do. But if you back away, wait a minute. If you back away, you will always regret it later. Yeah, you can't repeat a moment. So just speak what you need to in the moment. Try to do it peacefully. And I've been in so many situations like that. Try to keep it calm. Try to be in control. But everyone, as Jerry was saying, everyone is equal in this. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what culture you are. I don't care what species you are. We are all equal in this if this is going to come around the way that it needs to. So thank you. That actually was a great question. And the animals do know that. You're right. Absolutely know that. There's a process I used to use. Okay, it's called Natural Leadership Way. Few friends developed it, and then I helped. And we went out, and David, this kind of fits what you were saying. We would rope off like an acre of land out in the woods. And then we would take people out there who were not strongly understanding of natural ways. And we would sit in there all day long, and we'd have each one of them go around. And if you look at a tree, you see everything happening there, and you see the bugs on the tree, and you see how everything is coordinated and communicates in any area in nature. And you can take that and apply it to human behavior. And so that's a powerful way to understand the way nature works as well. Thank you, grandmothers. And Youth Council, with Zoe as part of it now. Okay, who's next? Chris, I'm counting on you, man.
It was David.
Okay, I thought there was somebody else. Maybe they put their hand down. David.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. That was so well spoken, by the way. Very well put together, and covers a lot of what I was feeling inside as well. And I think for the youth, just to remember, and a lot of us who have been around for a few more years, there was a time that we all walked in unison, and then man stepped in front of woman stepped in front of child, and we've sort of not really remembered how to step together again. We're trying to go back to that and remember that. And so, we're not perfect that way, and we're still trying to remember and learn. So when we meet in the heart, when you're going to ask, this is for the youth, you know how to connect in your heart. And when you see your heart's connecting with the people you need to speak with, it opens the pathway for that remembering of us being in unison. And I think that's a fantastic place to come with whatever questions you have, with the curiosity and remembering. And the courage comes from opening the heart and the chest. That's the strongest energy we have inside all of us, because it helps us to connect to Creator. It helps us connect us to all things of Source, to the animals and everything. And when we start to work from that space in unison, we begin to be able to remember how we can communicate in oneness and in fullness of each other, supporting each other, not, this person's old this, or this person's older, or you're a young child. No, we're the same, because adults learn from children who are big spirits in little bodies and carry that wisdom that we're trying to remember or have forgotten to go back to. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, David. That's powerful as well. Just a side note now from the Youth Council. I guess I didn't even realize we're getting that late. They want us to know that they are feeling strong and heard with this show tonight, and they're very thankful for that. And I'll speak for all of us, but I think we're feeling very blessed and energized to hear you guys speaking. For some who, and some of us are as old as me here, I think, or older, you guys are next, and it makes our heart really comfortable to know some of you are there and ready. Barbara, you have something on that or on something else?
I was trained by those that have left us, and it was different back then in that if you wanted to speak out, all you did was ask the elder if you could speak. And usually they already knew what you were going to say, but they allowed you to say it. And in the old ways, children and young people were always listened to. They were the most sacred. And on the other side of it, Grandpa, the one that trained me, always told me to have big ears. So a lot of times when you have questions, if you have big ears and you watch, your questions are answered. But if they aren't, just go with respect. And if you really want to do it the right way, take that elder some tobacco and offer it. And you offer it in 4 times. And so then if they're willing to listen to you, they will pick up the tobacco. But there's a lot of value in the traditional ways, and many of them have been lost. But you are the future. You absolutely, you young people, are it. Those of us my age, we're not going to be here, not in this physical body. So I bless you and I honor you. And if I could pour out of my head everything those old ones told me, I would. So thank you. And thank you to the grandmothers that are there with them. Ilamia.
Yeah, you bet. And I don't know if I've said that enough either, grandmothers, but I think, how closely I hold you in my heart for your work here. Yeah, and so the Youth Council is saying, with respect, that has not been what we have seen. Oh, I think they're meaning that hasn't been their experience. And it wasn't mine in many cases, although it's shifting a lot. Tom here and some others do want to hear us and listen to us. Other times we're told, sit behind and be silent. I think we're moving out of that model, folks. I really do. I've seen it. It was much more of that when I was young, for sure. And since I was a half-breed, it was maybe even more pronounced for me. I don't know. So I think that model's going away. I sure hope it is, because it has to go away. Everyone should be heard. Every single one. Oh, Jerry, I didn't see your hand was up. Take it.
There we go. First of all, yes, I thank you once again. This youth council, we are becoming a complete circle. Do you see what's happening? We have the elders, we have the youth, we have everyone else. This circle is becoming complete. Tradition, the ways of our ancestors are returning because love and respect has been given. Love and respect has been given to all life here in this circle by every one of you. We are having, we are being rewarded by seeing balance in this circle, balance in the lives around us. It starts, everything begins within. And I'm seeing within this circle beautiful things growing within everyone. And I thank you for all of that. Behind me, young ones and everyone, I want you to see I have something, and it's the ancient teaching. Every one of you, every one of you, even your peoples there, speak of how the animals have much to teach us. If you would like, I will, one of these podcasts, I will speak of this teaching called the ways of perceiving. And if one you can see, you can barely see that cooperation is up there. And that is the medicine of the wolf. That's what the wolf embodies in these teachings. The wolf embodies that. They say that every animal has a teaching to give us. This teaching tool, the ways of perceiving, is based upon that. And to find out what that is, what do? You watch and you listen. Watch how an animal acts, how it behaves. Just like how do you pay attention and find the heart of a person? You watch their actions. Don't listen to their words. You watch their actions. Their actions will betray their heart every time. It will show their heart, not betray, but it will show their heart every time. Same thing with the animals. You want to know the medicine? You can ask those animals and listen. They will give you that answer in a dream, or just listen. That answer will show up again and again throughout the day. Listen and just keep looking like you are and observing. You guys are calling out the behaviors that we as human beings, as your adults, have let fall to the wayside. You are now become our teachers. The circle is complete. I thank you so much. I thank you, Zoe. I thank you, all the children. I thank the grandmothers. I thank each one of you. All of us have made the circle today what it is. Thank you.
Yeah, and they wanted me to share, Jerry, you know this because I told you before, the grandmothers and the young people of this other council did have had a Zoom call between themselves. I guess it's a week and a half ago, maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, now they've decided to have an additional call, so that's great. So we want these things to just keep forming and reforming, and like Barbara, I look behind me now like I used to for, oh, where's Two Bears? Uh-oh, where's Lime and Yellow Hair? They're all gone. So now we do the best we can carrying it so you guys can now take over and start walking it. But we hope that all these things we carry that we've learned through good actions and through mistakes, we pass to you before we leave. It's really important. And with that, I see the person with an interesting name, Zoom user.
Hi, sorry, my name's Eva. I didn't realize it usually automatically goes up in the Zoom call, but I use that link. I was really intrigued, Jerry, by this wheel that you have behind you, and I was trying to write down all the little all the little lessons in between. But I didn't catch what you called it, the ways of what?
The ways of perceiving.
Perceiving. Okay, and then the, I was going to ask just before we left. Um, we have a very interesting little mouse in the house. And today I named him Jerry because he is very, very quick. And I was just wondering why the mouse represents balance. And that was one of our discussions because my friend he's put the house up for sale and he has this one mouse that he just, he can't get to leave and he won't get a cat. Um, and he had he had jokingly said he put glue strips all the way across under the sink, and the mouse still left its little presents for him in the drawer where the soaps and everything are supposed to go. And I was like, well, yeah, he's balancing on the guide rails to get where he needs to go. But I just wanted to carry this story to him after the circle's over of why the mouse represents balance. And I think it's so cute that I'm actually thinking of like making a t-shirt or getting a tattoo or something that represents that, Jerry the mouse. And I didn't realize that I'm asking you that question and your name's Jerry. Duh. Okay. Stick back in the center.
Jerry the Mouse, I think it goes to you.
I guess it does. Yeah, I've only heard that like, 2 or 3 thousand times as a kid. Right. But now I hear it I take it with pride. Thank you very much. So if you look at a mouse, you spoke of it. They balance, but look at their long tail. They use that tail for balance. But also, where does the mouse live? It lives close to the earth, and its center of balance is close to the earth. When we live close to the earth, we it's easier, and we keep that umbilical connected to our mother. Balance is easier to come by. We talked about at the beginning of the circle with the influx of the solar energy. What do we need to do? Many of us said go out into earth, into nature, ground. Mouse lives there all the time, and mouse has that wonderful tail to help it maintain balance. We have that tethered to Mother Earth and to all life that we are connected to, that we must maintain and use for that balance. Remember to balance because it's we on our own, without our tail, so to speak, connecting us and guiding us to reminding us to the balance and living close to the earth on our own. Look what's happened when we cut ourselves off from nature. Look what's happened when we tried to. You can't. We're a part of the earth. We're a part of all things. By trying to do something that can't be done, it's a spiritual sickness. Hanakti, as Hopi say. The best translation is crazy. It's a form of insanity that we've given to ourselves by trying to cut ourselves off from each other and all life. Thank you, though. Stick in the middle.
Thanks. That's really a couple tidbits From the grandmothers, for those who want to work more with energy and meanings, Ted Andrews' Animal Speak is still one of the premier books to get for that. Ted's no longer with us, but it's an excellent book. He has another one too. You can find it. It's all about some different animals and also landscapes. So
Nature Speaks.
thank you very much. You're right. Nature Speaks. Thank you, Ted, wherever you are up there. I appreciate. Yeah, that is a good one. And so the young folks are thanking everybody. We should be thanking that. No, we thank each other. We all thank each other. You're right. But they're saying there's a lot more in this. Is it a possibility we could go further with this? I think it is. And to me, I mean, the whole Zoom wheel of Jerry, which I have been gifted some teachings of from him, kind of fits this too, don't you think, Jerry?
If that is what the youth council wants next and what all of you want next, then these teachings will be sharing on our next podcast, I believe. What do you think, Jen?
It works for me. Why don't we do that? So it'll be more around animals, but believe me, they're tied really tightly into this too. I think it'll be a good. So thank you. Good suggestion, guys. All right, I retire. Let the young people. Oh no. Okay, sorry. We're not allowed to lay down yet. I know. Is there anything else? I mean, we're a bit over, but that's okay. We had a couple people who had to leave early to go to other things, and we thanked them and appreciative that they were here too. Appreciative everybody was here, obviously. Whew.
Anybody else have anything they wish to share or contribute? I open the circle.
Looks like, okay, sorry.
That's okay. I open the circle. Who would wish to give thanks to all beings and close us out? Jim, go ahead.
No, I'm going to pass it in a minute, but someone, April just wrote, Learning Their Language by Martha Williams. There's another suggestion. I don't know that one. I'll look it up myself. Yeah, I could close it out, but I'm thinking we want balance. If one of our women members here tonight would like to close it out, that would be great. And if you don't, that's fine as well.
Grandmother Barbara?
That was my next question.
Grandmother Barbara, would you do us the honor of closing the circle for us?
I will.
Thank you.
Unchi, Tukashala, Wankatanka. I stand in gratitude, as we all do, for your guidance tonight in teaching us to honor all ages and consider what they have to contribute, and to remind us that the animals are one with us. They are our relatives, and they will guide us and help us and sometimes correct us. So with these words, I say Wopila, Wopila for this incredible night tonight. Thank you all.
Wopala, Washtelo. That was beautiful. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Jerry, I didn't ask you first. That was probably a mistake. I apologize. But I reached out to them just so they can plan, and I asked the council if they would like to do this with us again next time.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. What was their answer?
Big yes. Some of their parents and grandparents are the other people who are in that circle tonight, and that's also perfect. So yes, thank you. We're all in agreement. Please, next week we'll carry on. Blessings to all. I will, whatever I have to do, I have to make technology magic, which is not easy for me. Hopefully I'll have this recording up sometime tomorrow. Please feel free to watch, and if you think this was good energy, good teaching, share it out there. Let's make sure others hear this and join the circle. Thank you all. Much appreciated.
And thank you all. I just want to say, and wishing everybody a joyful, beautiful day on the solstice, wherever you are.
Yes.
Wherever you are, you can hold that space, and we'll collectively be gathering around the world. And it's going to be part of the shifting into this beautiful new world that we're creating together. So I'm grateful for everybody here. But we're truly the youth and Zoe for coming in and reminding us why we're here.
Yep.
You're why we're here. Thank you.
Thank you. And remember, if you want to drum on that day with us and you don't have a drum, how simple it is. That's all it takes. Go ahead and drum on your chest. Drum on a log. Those were the first drums. So yeah, thank you for bringing that in again. Much appreciated. All right, everybody have a good afternoon, evening, whatever it is where you are.
Thank you,
all.
everybody.
I don't know where the buttons are, but anyway. Here it is.